All right, I think we're live. Good afternoon now, Fearless Women. Here it is Monday, 22nd of June. Hard to believe. I just had a birthday last Friday. Yay!
Yay, happy birthday.
Thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed their Father's Day yesterday. I know I did. I hung out with my dad. He's 96, but still doing really well, and we had a great time. So just want to give everybody a few seconds here to hop on with us. I've got Kelly on with us. This is featuring Fearless Women number 5. And the idea here is just to introduce women to the group and let everybody know who everybody is in here, and just to encourage one another to go for it and, just go for our dreams and be fearless about it. So I'm looking to see if it's showing up, because it's hard to see who's on with StreamYard. They don't tell me. So I know a couple people are on. Welcome, everyone. Definitely interact with us in the comments. Say hi. Who are you? How are you doing today? We're going to have a little chat here with Kelly. And I don't know how to say your last name. So Kelly, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you are in the world.
Cool. I'm Kelly Falardeau, and thank you, Janelle, for having me on your show. I learned about your group a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so excited to be connecting with other women who are fearless or want to be fearless. So I'm from Alberta, Canada, and so I'm an international speaker, best-selling author, 6 times. I'm also a burn survivor, and so basically now what I do is I'm an Amazon bestseller strategist. So I coach people to become best-selling authors.
Wow, that's fantastic. And you know what? We have an author on with us right now. Laura Beth Dean is on. Beth Garrett is on. So welcome, ladies. If you have any questions while I'm chatting with Kelly, be sure to post it in the comment box. So you help authors become best-selling authors on Amazon.
That's right.
That's awesome, because you and I got to talk about that. I was just telling Kelly, I'm in the middle of a book right now, writing a book, and I had self-published before on Amazon, but I don't know how to do that whole, get yourself up to a best-selling author kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah. There's definitely some strategies to it. So, and everybody does it different. That's the thing. Like, every coach will have a different method. And the reason I know this is because one of my partners that I worked with, last week we did a summit. So it was Amplify Your Messages Summit. So we had one day for authors, one day for speakers, one day for podcasters. And so he knows a number of people who focus on the bestseller strategy. And he said, Kelly, you're the only one I know that does it that way. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
And I know you posted right after we connected, you had posted something about you were launching a new book, and you were spending the day doing this thing and getting yourself up to that level, and you did it. So I was like, oh, how is she doing that? How do you spend a whole day doing that?
Well, it was actually for a client book that I was doing this for. So so people hire me to either do the launch for them, or they hire me to coach them to do it for themselves. So this was a doctor that I was working with, and then it's been really fascinating because some clients that I've been coaching, they do it themselves, and then they've been able to make the bestseller list also. So it's really cool to watch people make the list.
I bet it is. How did you start doing that?
Well, about 10 years ago was when I wrote my first book called No Risk, No Reward. And basically I wrote that book because my speaker coach said to me, Kelly, you need to be an author, because when you're an author, then when you get asked to speak for free, you've got a product to sell. Also, if you speak for 20 minutes, a lot of people want to know more about you, and they want to go deeper with you. And this way you've got a book that you can sell them, and they can take a little piece of you home with them. And so I wrote that book, but then 6 months later, another girl said to me, Kelly, you need to now be a best-selling author, because then you get higher fees, more stages, more credibility, more everything. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, how do I do that? Right? Because I didn't know how to do it. And especially back then, I mean, it was different then than it is now.
Yeah.
So 6 months later is when I wrote my second book, and the intent with that book was to make it a best-selling book. So there were certain things I did in that book in order to make it a best-selling book. And yeah, we did it. It was a lot of heartache, but we did it, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Well, tell us about your story and what brought you to doing the work that you do in the world.
Okay, sure. Well, I got burnt when I was only 2 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
we lived on a farm, and my cousins were throwing shingles on a fire, and a spark came out and landed on my dress.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
so I exploded and burst into flames.
Oh,
And
goodness.
so, yeah, so 75% of my body is covered in scars. And I had to spend 4 months in the hospital. And then every 2 years, I would spend another 2 months, or no, another month in the hospital having more reconstructive surgery. So, yeah, so it was, it's a pain in the butt. It was heartbreaking. It was a lot of pain. It was,
Oh, as a 2-year-old, I can't even imagine your mom, what she must have gone through too. Like, oh my gosh, scary. I got a burn. It was an electrical burn around my neck when I was 19. I had this metal chain around here with a big crucifix, and I was vacuuming out my car, and on the vacuum cleaner there was like an extension plug on the hose. It was one of those
right.
And it had a short in it. It would shoot sparks, and I was standing in a puddle of water.
Oh no.
I know. So I got electrocuted and had these four-degree burns just on the back of my neck. That was it. And it was so painful, just that little part of my body. I still have this scar. So I can't imagine like all over how much that would hurt. As a little girl too. Oh, wow.
I know. It's really kind of interesting because my mom was only 21 years old when I got burnt.
Oh, God.
And so, yeah. And so it's interesting because my daughter is now 21.
Oh, wow.
And so I think of her, and compared to my mom, it's like, oh my God, like that would be so horrible, right? Yeah. So, and my mom blamed herself, of course. I mean, that's normal, right? Like,
yeah,
when something happened to our children, we blame ourselves. So my mom definitely blamed herself. And it was only probably in the last 2 years that she finally forgave herself.
Aww.
And that was because they did a documentary on my life story called Still Beautiful. And they actually recreated my accident of me getting burnt. And they followed, me through going to school and, getting a job and getting married and then divorced and having kids and, becoming a speaker. And it aired in Canada nationally for about the past 2 years. It's been on TV. So it's pretty cool.
What is the name of the documentary again?
It's called Still Beautiful.
Still Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story. We have a couple other people. Natalie Barron is on and Leanne Parsons. Hi, ladies. What a great story. So do you remember much about that as a 2-year-old?
I don't remember the accident. No, I don't remember any of that. I have a couple memories of being in the hospital. And then I don't really remember my life until I was about 5 years old. And then I start remembering from kindergarten on.
Yeah, most of us, that's, I think, true. So, wow, that's a fantastic story. So you wrote the book. Did you write the book about it? Is that what your first book is about?
Well, my first book, actually, Still Beautiful is my 5th book. So,
okay, gotcha.
But No Risk, No Rewards is my life story. And when the producers were optioning my book, they optioned the 2 books. So they wanted the right to No Risk, No Rewards and the right to the Still Beautiful book. And so when you do a documentary about your life story, the producers want to be able to have the right to the books. And then that way you can't go sell the story to somebody else.
Oh, right? I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it is.
Bettina is on Sparkle. She's an author too. I had her on last week. Hey, Bettina. And Patty Grimm, she's been on here with me too. Hey, ladies, welcome. Patty says she loves the title of the book. So do I. Still Beautiful.
I do. And my daughter and I actually have tattoos. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, can you see it? No.
I think the angle is not quite right.
I can't get the angle right. It's on my arm. Anyways, my daughter and I both have Still Beautiful tattooed on our arms.
Oh, wow. So, how nice.
Yeah. She approached me. She said, Mom, why don't we get Still Beautiful tattooed on our arms? And I'll write it for you and you can write it for me. And so that's what we did. And it was so cool. It was a great mother-daughter bonding event
Yeah.
that we
And I
did.
love it. I love that. So all through your life, you've had to deal with, being scarred. What was that like for you? Did you struggle a lot with that, or tell us about that?
Absolutely, because I always got stared at.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I always assumed that people who were staring at me, it meant that they thought I was ugly.
Oh, wow.
And so, and people sometimes can be very rude about it. They'll sometimes take second or third looks, or, their mouth is wide open, and I'm just like, oh man, like,
Wow.
hasn't everybody seen me? Like, why? Like, I just don't understand it. I've learned to tune it out so that I don't notice it anymore. And I believe it's more of a protection thing than anything, because, when I was a kid and I saw it, it really bothered me, knowing that I couldn't just blend in. And, I walked past my teacher's desk when I was in grade 5, and I saw a picture someone had drawn of me, and it was a circle with scribbles all over, and it said Scarface on it.
Oh.
And so I knew that that's what the kids were calling me. And so, every time people were staring at me, of course, then that's what I would project, that, they were assuming I was the ugly Scarface girl. So, yeah, it was very difficult growing up that way.
Kids can be so mean.
Yeah.
And it can really hurt, cause a lot of stories inside, that you carry throughout your life about who you are. So the book, Still Beautiful, is that about your journey coming to this place of accepting who you are? Or tell us about that.
Well, actually, Still Beautiful is actually the transcript of the documentary. So you actually get a piece of the the whole documentary is in there. But it's also my 3 lessons. And that was one of the things, like what they did is they actually filmed me speaking to 3,000 teenagers. And I gave the teenagers these 3 lessons on how to feel still beautiful. And then what I did with the second half of the book is I invited other authors to be a part of the book and share their journey of feeling so beautiful. I have a girl that's got, she's had cancer 8 times in 9 years. I have, a single mom. She got pregnant when she was like 16. And I had another girl that's like overweight, and people teasing her and calling her names and all that stuff, and how she lived with, being overweight. So it's really cool. Some amazing stories in it. It's not just my story, because I felt that it wasn't just about me. It was about everybody. Like, what women can't say I haven't felt beautiful at one time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's definitely a message all women can relate to. And I know we got Anna on here and Casey are on. So ladies, type in the comment box if you can relate to this, maybe hashtag Still Beautiful. Who doesn't want to, and really that's the story that we tell ourselves so often, like we're not beautiful no matter what's happening out here. And we take on that message, right? And that identity that something's wrong with us. Like I would even wear long hair to cover my one scar on the back of my neck, like that one thing.
Right? That nobody sees.
That nobody sees. Yeah. And it came around to the front a little bit, but I was always trying to hide that. And we have all these stories internally that there's something wrong with us just because of something physical or outward. But yet inside is what really matters. Our soul and who we are is what is beautiful and what will shine through no matter what. So people are typing and they're still beautiful. Yeah. So what a powerful story. I want to read this book now.
Yeah, I know. Well, and it's really interesting because actually one of the girls that's in my book is a great friend of mine. Her name is Rachel. And I still remember, this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, Rachel had to have heart surgery. So she's got a scar right here. Yeah. And, from the surgery, they had to open up her heart, and she wouldn't be alive now if they didn't do the surgery. So anyways, one day she was really feeling sorry for herself, and she was complaining to me about this scar and, how when she goes shopping for clothes, she has to make sure that the scar is covered up. And I'm listening, and she's going on. And all of a sudden she just, I said to her, I'll trade you.
Wow.
And she's like, what? Oh, I said, yeah, I'll take that scar from you. And she's like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, I'm talking to the wrong person.
Aww.
And I'm like, yeah, absolutely are, Rachel. Like, seriously, look at me. You've known me since we're 15 years old. I'm covered in scars. She's even seen me naked. And I'm like, you're worried about that one scar. If a man doesn't like you because you have one scar, he doesn't deserve you.
Yeah.
And if people don't like you because you have one scar, then they don't deserve you either. And
Wow.
I said, you got to think about this. Like that one scar, you should be happy and grateful. That scar is kept you alive.
Wow.
That doctor had enough knowledge to be able to open up your chest and do the heart surgery that you needed so you could live.
Mm.
So why don't you embrace that scar instead of hating it?
Wow. What a power. I've got chills right now. What a powerful message, lady. So yeah, let's all think about that. Like the scars that we do have, what is the gift in that? What did that scar bring us in our life? You know, how can we look at that scar a different way so that we can embrace it, that we've lived through something and that taught us something. Yeah, that one scar. Let's see, Patty Grimm, she said, love the one scar comment. We all have scars. Some are easily seen and some are hidden. So
Exactly. And that's something like a lot of people will tell me too. They'll after I speak and share my story, they'll say, okay, I don't have scars on my body, but I have internal scars. And I'm like, absolutely. I mean, everybody has those internal scars. You know, we all have something that we're living through. I mean, I even lost a baby when I had my daughter when I was 32, and then I got pregnant a second time. And when I was pregnant, I was 5 months pregnant at the time, and I still remember looking at my belly and saying, "It's okay if you don't make it because he doesn't want you."
wow.
And sure enough, 2 months later, I ended up losing her. She ended up dying and with a stillborn, and I started to deliver her. But then what happened is, and of course, I beat myself up because it was my fault as far as I was concerned. Thank goodness my doctor did an autopsy and said, no, the baby's umbilical cord grew shut. And but then I got pregnant with the twin boys.
Oh, wonderful.
And so I saw her passing as a gift because then we never would have had the twin boys if we would have had her. We would have just had the two girls. And so to me, that scar of losing the baby is actually a beautiful gift.
Yeah, that changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Karen Taylor is on. Hey, Karen, she was on with me. Laura said, this is awesome. She says, you asked for ways we relate to the struggle to feel beautiful. She said, I remember my brother's friend telling me it would take a year for me to get my beauty sleep. I was called Granny in 8th grade. What? My sister was called Four-Eyed Brace Face in grade school. Oh my gosh, kids can be horrible. And it's hard. It's hard for the kids receiving it because they're so young. It's hard as a parent to help them understand that, you know, not to.
Well, it's hard for people to just forget the words and to just move through it. And that's the biggest thing is that people don't know how to get through those words. And, you know, I still remember, probably 12 years ago, when my ex and I we were in a toxic marriage and things weren't going very well. And he got really drunk one night, and I remember him saying, you know, I often think about if you and I were separated, you'd be a single mom with 3 kids, and, you know, with the scars on your body, who would want you?
Oh, man.
And I was pissed right off, right? I was so mad. And I was, oh, you're my hero now? The only reason you're with me is because no other man is ever going to want you. And I still remember when I was contemplating whether I wanted to leave my husband or not. And I had that conversation with myself. If I'm going to leave, I have to leave with the possibility I may never find another man that's going to want me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And am I going to be okay with that? And I decided I would be okay with that. But, you know, when I confronted him about him saying that, he still, to this day, does not believe he said that. My scars never bothered him. So I think it was just that he was drunk, and he was trying to convince, like, scare me into staying and not leave, right? So I understand that now, but the thing is, words hurt, and they stay with you. Like somehow we have to learn how to get through those words. I mean, I use that story, like that story doesn't bother me anymore, but I use it just to, you know, help other people and to share it with other people. So, you know, it doesn't bother me now. I see, you know, what he was doing, but a lot of times people don't get over this stuff. and they need to get through it and not hold themselves back.
Yeah. I mean, words have power. They do. You know that when we were young, we used to say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Not true, man. Words hurt. Yeah.
Words hurt. Exactly. Yep. And we remember them.
And they can create our own self-identity. You know, if you self-identify with the word, and then it can affect you the rest of your life, what you go for or try to do or not do, and can hold you back so much.
Absolutely. And look at, even how the lady commented, and she remembers those words, but she was called, right? Yep. Like every single person can remember, the name the bully called them.
Yeah. So we have to do that work of going back and really just redefining our identity and realizing that name does not identify who I am. It wasn't at all about who I am. It was about that person. And, giving yourself a new name. I do that kind of work all the time. I have a vision board I made with all these words on it describing who I truly am, and really owning that. And I think as women, we have a hard time. We are so caught up in the negative, and we're worst critics, right? We call ourselves names. And we need to understand how powerful words are, and to speak positive words. Even scientists have discovered the power of words and what it does to your brain, the effect it has on you when you hear them.
Absolutely. And, and people wonder why, right? Like, I still remember as a young girl growing up, and, I would look in the mirror and say, yuck, who's going to love that? Who's going to love someone as ugly as me? Like, I'm covered in scars, right? And so how do you have good self-esteem, or how do you feel beautiful if you're calling yourself ugly?
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because I used to wonder, why is it when I would talk to people, they would say to me, Cal, like, yeah, and when I first met you, I'll admit, I noticed your scars. But after 5 minutes of talking to you, I don't notice your scars anymore. Mm. And I say to that, well, why is that? Because the scars are still physically there, right? The scars haven't disappeared. So they are there. And why is it? And it's because people are noticing your smile. They're noticing your big eyes. They're noticing your energy. They're noticing your spirit. They're noticing everything else about you. They don't care about the negative things or the flaws that people have. You know, like I get so I just think it's crazy. Like some women will get so upset because they've got, flabby arms. And, and I still remember I had to do a speech at this one group, and this one girl said to me, yeah, I have to wear a sweater everywhere I go. I can't let anybody see my flabby arms. And I'm like, flabby arms? Where's your flabby arms? Like, I don't know where your flabby arms are. Like, I'm not noticing that. I'm noticing your gorgeous blonde hair and your beautiful smile and your energy and your laugh. I'm not noticing your flabby arms. But we just assume that everybody is seeing the negative stuff about us. And that's what we have to stop doing, is stop judging ourselves and just let ourselves go forward.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it is our society and this big focus on youth and, getting rid of wrinkles and getting rid of gray hair. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I go get my hair dyed. And during the COVID thing, my gray hair was growing out. I contemplated for a little bit about letting it continue to grow out, and I chickened out. But these are physical bodies are temporary, and they just house our true selves, our spirits and our souls. And in the long range view for eternity, it doesn't matter. And it really doesn't matter what our outside house, our earth suit looks like. I know a lot of women in my audience struggle too, because they're getting wrinkles and flabby arms and all of that. So hopefully this is putting that into perspective today. Your story is so powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, well, and the biggest thing that people need to do is to quit comparing themselves to other people.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like how many times you walk into the room and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not as beautiful as her. Oh my God, she looks way better than I do. Oh, she must be more rich than I am. Or she must be more successful than I am. Yep. Right? Like, so we're automatically, as soon as we walk in the room, we're automatically putting ourselves down.
Yeah.
Like we're not even giving ourselves permission to be that beautiful, successful, confident woman.
Yes. That is so true. We are so guilty of that. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is.
Yeah.
And, I had another girl comment. What was it? Oh, yeah, last week when we did our summit, and she was saying something about, like, I don't even want to start being a speaker because I struggle with imposter syndrome.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So to me, imposter syndrome starts with comparing yourself to other people.
Yep. That's a big part of it. Yes.
It is. And, like, even myself, like, I'm always learning new things. And one of my coaches, she put on this course about messenger bots, and then she put another course on about learning how to, do an online course. And I haven't really learned anything new. And I was like, okay, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And is it because I feel like I'm not good enough?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right? I should be able to do this. I mean, she hasn't taught me anything new, or she hasn't taught me anything I don't already know.
Right.
It's just, why am I not implementing it?
Yeah, it's time to take action and put yourself out there. I know I have a club called the Confidence Club I started just a month ago. And we read books for women on confidence. And we're reading one right now, and it's dealing with the imposter syndrome and all those messages that come up. And we're starting to identify, what is your core imposter story and where does it come from? And that one is really common. Like, I need to learn more. I'm not good enough yet. I don't have it yet. I need to learn more before I put myself out there. And then you just never do anything. You're just constantly learning.
Yeah.
But really, once you start taking that action, even though it's scary, that actually will build confidence. No matter whether the action you take is successful or not, you still build confidence because you've learned from it and you've done it. You've faced the fear and stepped out there. I know that was so true for me, just in putting my website up, or starting my podcast, right? And it's just like, who's going to want to listen to me? What do I have to say that anybody wants to hear? Like, and then finally I just said, well, I'm just going to put it out there. If people don't like it, they don't like it. And once I did, I realized, some people do like it and maybe some people don't, but that doesn't matter. What matters is me putting it out there, and whoever wants it can take it.
Exactly. Well, and, and the next problem is that we think we have to be perfect.
Yes.
And that's the next problem. The other thing that holds us back is, okay, first of all, we've got imposter syndrome to get over. Then we've got to get over the whole perfection thing, because we see other people who are doing it. We think they're perfect. And we think if we can't, be at their level, then we shouldn't do it at all.
Right. And that's really all part of the same thing.
It is.
Yeah. But what it comes down to is really seeing who you are truly inside, who you are, and loving who you are. Because once you can really love your true self, then you don't compare anymore, and you're not worried about competing anymore, and you're not even worried about it being perfect, because you just, I don't know. It's like, my book is called She's Taking Center Stage, How to Be the Star of Your Own Story.
Oh, excellent.
It's about walking out on center stage of your life as you, fully embracing who you are without shame, without worrying about what the audience thinks. But here I am, and I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
And when you're there, there's a lot of freedom in that, and a lot more happiness and joy, because you're not comparing yourself to other people. You know who you are. Like, if you walk in a room and there's other people in there, now instead of me comparing, I can appreciate them, and I can be like, oh wow, they're awesome, but so am I. And what I bring is different than them, but it's just as valuable. It has to do with worth and value.
I know, I love that. Glowcast launched a video about my life story, and this was about a year ago when they did that. And so my daughter and I were watching the numbers, and in about 6 hours, it hit 1 million views. Wow. And so anyway, I was talking to another great friend of mine about 2-3 weeks ago, and she's also a coach, so she's a mentor of mine. And so she said to me, Cal, like, I don't understand why you don't think you're successful. And she goes, you've got this Goalcast video with like, what, 9 million, no, almost like 10 million views. I said, no, it's only 9.8. And she's like, only 9.8 million. I'm like, yeah, only 9.8. And she's like, what, does it have to get to 10 million before you decide that you're finally successful? Mm-hmm. Like, what does it have to get to in order for you to believe that you are a successful woman?
Yes.
Right. And it's like, it's so funny when you hear it from somebody else, and she's like, come on, Cal, frick, 9.8 million views. How many people do you know have that?
Yeah.
And then I'm listing off all these, A-list big people that, I would never, like, I'm not at their level, right? Like, it's just so weird. But, okay, how many people that you know in your circle of friends are actually at 10 million,
exactly.
Right? Or 9.8 million. But it's just so weird how, as soon as you said, what, you've got this video 10 million, first thing I say is to knock myself down. Oh, yeah, but it's only 9.8.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an imposter syndrome thing too. Like no matter what success you have, it's still not like success. There's another level I have to get to.
Exactly. I know. And I keep watching the numbers, and it's like, oh, cool. It went from, it's so silly. It's really silly. Like you shouldn't be comparing yourself to the views and the likes. And actually it was interesting. A couple days ago, I was watching TikTok and Gary Vee was doing a video. Yeah. And he was talking to a 9-year-old, and the 9-year-old has a cooking show that he does. And so he says to the 9-year-old, okay, and I'm sure you're watching the views and the likes, and he goes, and the comments, and he goes, yeah, I am. And he goes, okay, I want you to stop doing that. Because if you don't get views and likes, you're going to criticize yourself and you're going to think that you're not good enough. So he said, don't even pay attention to that. Just go do it because you love it. And don't worry about the views, the likes, and the comments. And so it kind of hit home for me because here I am watching my Goalcast video. Oh my God, it's a 9.855 million. And then I was thinking, oh, only 35,000 more and I'll be at 9.9. Oh my God.
I know. My coach would always tell me, don't look at the numbers. They don't matter. Just put your stuff out there. Do what's in
what you want to do. Yeah. Exactly. So I posted that Gary Vee video on my Facebook wall, and I said, "Oh my God, everybody needs to see this."
Oh yeah. So, ladies, if you want to connect with Kelly, definitely message her and look up her. What's your page on Facebook called? Is it just
Kelly Falardeau? Yeah, just my name.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was going to say that about the numbers thing. Like, what was I going to say? That. Oh gosh, the thought just left me. Well, let me read some comments. Maybe it'll come back. Patty Grimm said, she said, I felt the same thing when I wrote my book. Who am I to write this book? What gives me the right to tell others how to live their life? And who would read it? Thoughts all went through my head. And finally I said, FK it. And wrote it anyway. Yeah, F blank K it, and wrote it anyway. Yeah, she's got an awesome book. And then she said, a lot of the lack of confidence is our pursuit of perfectionism. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Men don't do that. That's so true. Men don't. They don't usually have that. They think they're pretty awesome anyway. Of course, in our culture, women are always, we are always told like we've got to do twice as much to even reach the same level. We're always kind of getting that message that we're not quite good enough. We're not quite smart enough. We're not quite this or that. We've got to try even harder. I mean, there's evidence. There's like lots of studies done on that. That's a fact. So
totally. I always tell people, don't strive to be perfect. Strive to be near perfect. Right? Because when you strive to be perfect, what ends up happening is you will raise the bar. And I still remember when we did our book launch for Still Beautiful, and I said, okay, guys, we just need to sell a minimum of 100 books and we'll be fine. We'll make the bestseller list, blah, 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 right? And then we hit 100. And then what did I say? I said, okay, awesome. We did it. Now let's go to 130.
Yeah.
Didn't even give myself 2 seconds to celebrate that we made the 100.
You just reminded me of what I was going to say. That's it right there. It's celebrating the wins. That's one of the things that we work on a lot in my group is, and we talked about it in the Confidence Club, like how often we just breeze past our win and we want to, okay, now we got to do the next thing. And we didn't stop and pat ourselves in the back and do a happy dance and fist bump or whatever and say, hey, I did this. And sit with it and be feel the success and own the success and let it be real before you move on to the next thing.
I totally agree with you there. And that's one of the reasons why, when I have those little wins, I'll post it on Facebook. Not because I want to brag, but because I want to celebrate my win. But also, and this is a good tip for anybody that's in business, celebrate your wins on Facebook so that your tribe knows that you're winning.
Yes.
So every time I do a book launch, I put it on Facebook and I say, oh my God, I'm so proud of my client. She just made the bestseller list. And what does that do? It gets my tribe knowing that I coach people to be best-selling authors. And then they are knowing, oh my God, okay, if I want to do a book launch, Kelly's the person to call.
Exactly. And then it's celebrating both your success and your client's success.
Exactly. And so always put it out there. Like I know so many people, like this one guy, this is funny, I think about 4 weeks ago, I put on Facebook, I think I should get either a dating coach or a dog. I'm not sure which one I want. And then, so I put it up on Facebook and I said, I'm thinking about either getting a dog or a dating coach. What do you think? And all these people were commenting. I probably had 60, 70 comments, people saying, get the dog, get the dog. And then one person said, no, get this guy. He's an awesome dating coach. And then another girl said, well, get this girl because she's an awesome dating coach. So I go to the guy's site that said he's an awesome dating coach. And nowhere is it on his Facebook that he's a dating coach.
Oh, wow.
Nowhere. And I'm thinking, is this guy really a dating coach? So I go to the girl's site, Facebook, and it's all over her, like, Facebook that she's a dating coach. And I'm like, okay, this is clear that she's a dating coach. So that's why I want every single one of you is to make sure it's very prominent on your Facebook page what you do. Mm-hmm. So that people know that they can go to you if you're a dating coach or
exactly,
whatever you are, right? Like you want to put that on your Facebook so people know.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and check my page and make sure I have it clearly there. I don't know if I do. Yeah. So let's see. Patty said if men had 10,000 views, they would say they had 100,000.
I think you're talking about the fish story, right? Where men go fishing. They always say, oh, yeah, it was like this big and it was really on this big, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. They don't have any trouble doing that. But women would say, well, I only had 10,000 views. And it was only because my friends helped me. It wasn't really me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're afraid we're bragging on ourselves or something. But like you said, that's a great point. Like people got to know, you've got to tell them what you do and that you are successful, or they won't know. They won't know what you're doing. You've got to just tell them. It's not a matter of bragging. It's, this is what I'm doing and this is what I can offer you. And
if you don't share it, you're being selfish. Right? Because you're not giving people the opportunity to learn more about you so that they can come to you if they need you. Right? Good. Like there's nothing that annoys me more than I have a friend. I had this happen to me where a friend of mine, she wanted to do a bestseller launch. And sure enough, our mutual friend, he said, well, why don't you go to Kelly and see if she can help you? And sure enough, she was trying to upload her book in the completely wrong spot on Amazon. So she never would have got it up. And then she was panicking because she was doing her launch in 4 days. Oh, wow. And I said, okay, hang on, Deanne, let's go back to square one. Everything's fine. We're going to make this happen. Okay. It's as simple as this. We're going to fix this, get it up on Amazon and the right thing. We can still do your launch. But what we're going to do is take pre-orders. We're not going to just tell people to go right to Amazon to buy your book. We're going to take pre-orders off your website. That way you have the client name, the client's address, and all that. Yeah. And then we'll deal with Amazon after that.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I want to definitely do that this time. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Pre-sale.
I'll probably be calling you when I get ready.
Sounds good.
All right. So anybody else out there that's writing a book and will be self-publishing and want to know more about how Kelly can help you, definitely reach out to her. You can just message her on Facebook, find her on Facebook, and hopefully at some point you'll be on my podcast. I don't remember if you applied yet, but I think maybe.
I don't know if I did, or maybe I thought that this was applying for your podcast.
Oh, no, this is just introducing you to
Facebook. Yeah, no, tell everybody's more than welcome. Come and reach out to me. Yeah. I see somebody has a comment. Do you have a podcast? Not yet. I'm thinking about it. It's kind of the new direction I'm being pushed in. And
you should definitely.
Yeah, well, and I'm just trying to figure out what direction I want to take it in, because
Gotcha.
I do the book publishing, but it's not what I was speaking about before. Like my speaking before was all about self-love and self-care and that sort of thing. But I found that when COVID happened, it made more sense for me to pivot into book coaching because that was what people wanted to pay me for. Is how to write their books and coach them. And so I actually even have a free gift if anybody wants it. So it's the blueprint on how to publish your book.
Okay. Well, you can go in the group there and just put it in the comments.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not really doing free offers with these videos.
Yeah.
But on our podcast, definitely we will.
Yeah, absolutely. So feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I'll give you guys the blueprint because it's cool. It's the 7 steps on how to print and publish your book.
Yeah, definitely. I want that. Hello, I want that. Well, it's been great having you on here and introducing you and telling your story and everything you do and what you've been through. I think everyone will take away some very great golden nuggets from this today. Patty Grimm said you should have a podcast. But I think figuring out what your podcast is about. You were in the 5-day challenge with Steve with us, right?
I was, and I just didn't get to take the whole 5 days. So that's why I'm still struggling in that area. But if anybody has any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I really would.
Absolutely. Well, maybe you and I should talk another time and we'll talk about books and podcasts.
Sounds good. I'm in for that.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on with us and sharing your story. I think you are amazing and beautiful, and you have a powerful story. And I just love all the little nuggets that you shared. I think every woman can benefit from understanding, especially the thing about the scars, like that was huge. So yeah. And thanks, ladies, for being on with us. Hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll probably run a watch party later tonight if anybody wants to watch it with me. And Kelly, if you're available, usually I do a watch party later, like around 8 at night Eastern time. And then if you go into my group and watch it with me, then if people have comments or questions, we're on live as they're watching.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for having me on the show, Janelle.
You're welcome. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.